Welcome back to the Shins. Now we are going to talk about lesson number 6. So a while ago, we learned about lesson number 5, and that is about diction or the effective use of sentences. So now let's have the last part or the last topic of unit number 1, and that is about descriptive and narrative writing. So let's go, guys. Let's learn lesson number 6. So today, guys, or at the end of the lesson, you are expected to first know the difference between descriptive and narrative writing, and second, identify specific details employed in both descriptive and narrative writing. So let's go. So, what is exactly the narrative writing? So, ano pala yung narrative writing, ma'am? So, most likely, gibuhat na nato ni siya or we always exercise this one. So, when you are narrating something, you are also telling a story. So, mura lang kag nagchika sa imuhang uyab or sa imuhang crush about something that you want to tell him or her. Okay? So, most likely narrative writing, guys, appears mainly in all kinds of fiction, such as novels, novellas, short stories, and in nonfiction, such as biographies, memoirs, journals. So, it means you are just narrating or sharing a story to a friend or anecdote in a letter or even a post from your Facebook page. So narrative writing, guys, is writing mainly in chronological order. So, imuha siyang isulat in chronological order from top to bottom, from first to last. Therefore, its emphasis is on the action, the sequences, and events relating to the story. So, that's right. Now, uh, ano ba mga example, ma'am, ng ating narrative writing? Yeah, so for example is the work of Carlos Bulusan, which is entitled I Would Remember. I first saw that when I was a small boy in the little village where I was born. It was a cool summer night, and the night was as clear as day, and the ripening rice fields were golden in the moonlight. I remember that I was looking out the window and listening to the sweet mating calls of wild birds in the tall trees nearby when I heard my mother scream from the dark corner of the room where she had been lying for several days because she was big with child. I ran to her to see what was going on, but my grandmother darted from somewhere in the faint candlelight and held me close to the warm folds of her cotton skirt. My mother was writing and kicking frantically at the old woman who was attending her. But when the child was finally delivered and cleaned, I saw that my mother was frothing at the mouth and slowly becoming still. She opened her eyes and tried to look for me in the semi darkness, as though she had something important to tell me. Then she closed her eyes and lay very still. So, this is a very sad story of a boy who talk about the early demise of his mother or the early death of his mother. So, this is very sad. So, this is an example of a narrative writing. So, the boy here talks about what happened about or the day that her mother or that his mother died. Okay, so this is an example of a narrative writing. Now let's go to a descriptive writing. So, ma'am, usa day ang kalainan sa narrative and descriptive writing. So when we say narrative, you are going to use your creativity in writing to narrate something from top to bottom, from first to last. While in descriptive writing, you are going to paint a picture in words that communicates an overriding impression. So, maghimo ka og picture. So you are going to use words in painting pictures. So just like what you have seen in this beautiful tree. So you are going to write, what does this look like? How does it smell? How does it taste? What's this? How does it feel? So that is precisely descriptive writing. So you are going to employ a language that appeals to the reader's imagination and emotions, and even senses. In order to establish a favorable reader's impression, you should carefully craft details involving sizes, shapes, and colors. Solid nouns, precise verbs, and colorful adjectives should be used meticulously. Compare the two pages or passages and see the difference. One employs a weak descriptive detail, and the other presents the detail more effectively through striking and vivid description. So here in descriptive writing, you needn't, so dili lang kinahanglan nga magkaroon lang kag simple and weak description. In descriptive writing, you need to have a strong description. Okay? So this is an example, guys, of a weak description. The old lady sits alone in the bar, holding a glass and looking at the wine display from across the room. So it's very simple. This is an example of a weak description. So paano pala ma'am magsulat ng strong description? So this is an example. The old, washed up and bejeweled lady, a woman in her late 50s or early 60s, sits alone in the dimly lit bar, holding a glass of bourbon and whiskey, and looking at the wide area of wine display from across the dingy room. So here is a very strong description. It talks about, or it's describe the old woman. It also described the bar, the glass of wine, and even the dingy room. So here the specific descriptive details, guys, or you need to be have a creative comparisons and sensory impressions in a descriptive paragraph. So it should also be logical, okay? So it should be logically arranged and organized. So the reader should be able to follow these descriptive elements. So magamit yun natin siya, makatabang din siya sa ato ang mga reader to follow these descriptive elements and clarify the dominant impression that you wish to communicate. So these descriptive images should also present additional details in spatial order, such as left to right. So gikan dito sa left, hantod sa right, you're going to describe them. So we also have top to bottom, inside to outside, corner to center, near to far. So other descriptive details may be expressed in chronological order. So pwede po na to siya express in chronological order, but we are going to describe, or what we call descriptive writing. So you are going to touch the different emotions, senses, and imagination of your reader. So example here, guys, this is a work of Ruth Seidel, which is the New American Dreamers. The following is a descriptive paragraph creating a dominant impression of a woman who is in control of herself. She is the prototype of today's young woman, confident, outgoing, knowledgeable, involved. She is active in her school, church, or community. She may have a wide circle of friends or simply a few close ones, but she is committed to them. And to their friendship, she is sophisticated about the central issues facing young people today, planning for for the future, intimacy, sex, drugs, and alcohol, and discusses them seriously, thoughtfully, and forthrightly. She wants to take control of her life and is trying to figure out how to get from where she is to where she wants to go. Above all, she is convinced that she plans carefully, works hard, and makes the right decisions. She will be a success in her chosen field. have the material goods she desires in time, marry if she wishes, and in all probability, have children. She plans, as the expression goes, to have it all. So this is a very good descriptive writing about a dominant impression of a woman. So dito, vividly and creatively, it describe about the woman of today's generation. Okay, so thank you so much, guys, for listening for our lesson today. So that is for lesson number 6. I hope you have learned about descriptive learning and descriptive writing and narrative writing. So do your best, editions. Now let's go to your assessments. Always remember to make your parents proud. Bye. See you again.